Hello, Dead Slayer. Right, so I figured I want to do something else, like rather than journal uh, with these Terraria videos, is what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about politics because I feel like some of the remedies that I'm like identifying. Oh, there we are. I made a house. Look, I made a house with no lights. Let's put some lights on. Oh, fuck! Somebody died in the basement. Right, okay, so what was I on about? Yeah, I figured like some of the remedies of my life, sorry, from journaling, are basically like, you know, if you already know what's up, or you can identify what's up now, and in a position to like, you know, be more uh, like useful with whatever it is that I'm coming across. I guess what I'm trying to say is like it's not always where you know there's a problem and it's something that you want to fix. Like if you don't know why you've got to fix it, then all you're doing is something that's like literally one day. You know, you're not actually doing you're not doing any implementation of like a remedy. You're doing it as a temporary fix because it feels good at the time, and then when you forget to embody it, it kind of like you stop doing it. You know. And to that effect, like what I'm realizing at the moment through guided like help, because I have really tried to help myself quite a lot, and like sometimes you can do things where you think it's helping, and yeah, you're not actually helping yourself. But you're trying, but it's not working, or it's working, but it's not working as well as it could be, or as fast as it could be. It's just, I don't know what I'm trying to really get at. So like one thing is like, why am I just constantly in like a sort of like fix myself sort of mode, and rather than or help other people sort of mode or whatever, and not actually just doing things for myself, because I took up art in 2016. I mean, I tried to take up design to be honest, but I took up art in 2016, or maybe just started 2015, whatever. But because I got sick and tired of living my life to somebody else's tune. If you're in the military, you've ever like been in the military, you'll know what I mean. It's like there's a frustration that comes with like just constantly doing things to serve other people, and never actually having time, or being able to use your own skills for your own self, or being able to like you know make something out of yourself, or live a day for yourself, because if ever you're doing service life, it's always like it's for someone else, and you have to do it their way all the time, and if you deviate it from their way, you get bollocked. And I was like, towards the end of my service career, I was kind of done. I couldn't go any further because I'd had enough of doing everything for everyone else, you know, and never having that sort of like recognised or rewarded. And the sort of like help and guidance I get from like line managers or managers is always like, well, we can't recommend you for promotion because you have no confidence. Like, you need to work on your confidence. It's like you tell that to like a young, like working class northern lad, and like, what the fuck does that mean? You know? And then you have to go on draft and like learn how to start all over again and keep doing that. And you're picking up stuff, losing stuff, and it eventually like becomes, a thing where you kind of lose sight of yourself. And yeah, I don't know. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, I understand why so far, I didn't like why A, you know, compassionately, I couldn't carry on with art, and also B, why I kind of started to lose interest in it and sort of like completely and utterly like self-erase and, you know, like give up, admit defeat, and not want to do anything at all. So what am I trying to say here? Yeah, well, anyway, like politics, so I'm going to use these videos for politics, to actually, like, you know, have me have something to do and pursue my own interests, sort of thing. But I'm still planning on doing something pretty cool with sorority anyway, and I think I'm gonna like carry on and make these videos, you know, interesting enough to watch. So yeah, politics. So so today I'm going about my business. We're doing like a couple of reflective exercises and like ways to, like, you know, break out of like bad habits, and I feel like I'm just doing them one at a time right at the moment, which is cool. But you know, I got a delivery in the morning, and I also made myself something to eat, and then just got started to work on my blog, and, you know, I'm just like getting on with my day anyway. And then I had another knock at the door. I'm like thinking, who could that be? Because I haven't ordered anything else. I'm quite happy. Like, who's knocking on the door at this time? And I goes down, and lo and behold, it's something good. It's somebody going around campaigning for the local elections, and I I'm absolutely thrilled by this, because it's always been like one of my major annoyances is like when you know, where I'm always like beating on the drum at politicians or people who are friends with politicians, or, you know, people who like have links to politicians or politicians themselves. And like my main criticism of politicians these days is like, you know, some of them, like, I don't want to vote for them because they don't put in any effort at all to say that they're going to represent the, you know, the people they say they're going to represent. So, you know, so much so that half of them, you know, they can't even be bothered posting a crappy leaflet through the door. So to me, I found it was like extra special to have, you know, a member from representing, you know, the local council, the local government, come and not just post letters, you know, have you know, post a leaflet through my door, but actually talk to me. And I thought that was fantastic. You know, that was everything that I wanted. So I was really happy that, you know, I could see somebody turn up and actually say, we see you, we're meeting you, and we know who we're representing. You know, that extra bit of effort. And I thought, brilliant. And then I started asking like questions, like, you know, that affects me and affects other people. And it was kind of like, you know, all he wanted to do was say some piece, like, you know, this is the person, you know, go to the elections. If you didn't know, you know, you've got to vote next week on Thursday. It's at this place. And I was kind of like, you know, and then it starts going on. You know, if you have any problems at all, in life, uh, you know, look for our website. And I'm like, man, that's it. And again, I'm just like, what, you know? I said, well, actually, it says that's kind of you know, what I'm annoyed at with MPs. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I said, you know, I am overwhelmed with choice when it comes to places and resources that offer help. You know, I said there's hundreds of thousands of places and charities that say, call us if you need any help with anything. You know, any help or support. And it's like, how can I describe this? So, you know, I work a full-time job, and throughout the day, you know, I'll encounter all sorts of different problems, and a lot of the time I can't complain to anybody. I've just got to get on with it. You know, I've just got to deal with it, because you know, I haven't got time to really like figure out, you know, a lot of things, like, because you know, I'm like going through my day working. I mean, now is easy. I've got loads and loads of time to ask for help, to receive help, you know, to find out, you know. So it's good to know like where to go to find it, to ask for it. But a lot of the time, I feel like the average working people, you know, myself included, when you're living your life, you haven't got time. You haven't got time to write to your letter, you know, like or think about it. You know, shit happens, and you've got to go through your day, and you've got to make the most of it. You know, like a lot of the time, complaining or you know, it doesn't help, and you don't always like have time to even notice. You know, there's even a need to ask for help. So I'm like, I mean, a better way to put this is like, to me, as a good leader, um, you can only go as fast as, you know, as a team or whatever. Like whoever you're leading, you've got to be able to check up on them. It's not just enough to like march forwards and, you know, yeah, to just march forwards and like say, if you need any help, just shout. Because sometimes you can fall so far behind or get so caught up in what you're doing that you become overcome by it. And the idea of like, well, we've got a website to ask for help, it's, you know, do you, you know, like, do you ever look back and check in that everyone's okay? And a lot of the time, like, I see politicians and local government, and I see them, doing just that. You know, they're going forwards, and they don't care who's being left behind, who's having a hard time, who's being completely and utterly overcome. You know, it's one of these where they kind of like they stop the ship for a minute. You know, they notice, hang on a minute, let's, you know, how many people we've got. You know, oh, who, 5? We had 6 people. What do you mean? It's like, oh, you know, Trevor got eaten by a lion. Oh, wait, no, I was going with like man overboard, like situation. So, you know, I'm kind of I kind of feel like, you know, wait until after it's happened to actually get interested is annoying. And a lot of the local governments, they raise awareness of shit that's happened, you know, and that makes the news. But they don't necessarily always, to me, like even meet the people that they're supposed to be representing. I mean, I've had this conversation before where people say, well, it's not their job, we're voting for them because of the policies, we're voting because they've pitched what they said they're going to do. And it's like, you know awesome, you're going to work towards problems that you've encountered in your own town, in your own life, and think like everybody else is the same. The policies are kind of like, a lot of the time they're like, they're not even up to speed with real people. And I feel like, it's not even I feel like it's not even like mind blowing as a thing to I would say it's a common frustration that everybody has with politicians, and that you hear about a lot of the time, and that you feel a lot of the time, is like a lot of them just seem completely and utterly out of touch with what's happening. Like, I know when Rishi Sunak inherited his position. I mean, I say inherited, like whatever, he campaigned in the Conservative Party, but really it's kind of like, the Conservatives have just like passed the torch on, said, oh well, I've fucked up now, so I'm stepping down. We're going to have a new election. It's got to be a new prime minister in our team again. And that's how we ended up with whoever came after David Cameron. What was it, Theresa May, and then and everybody just along the way, just like being passed the torch, basically. Boris Johnson being passed the torch, and then what was her name? The one who's like, in two ways you can say, well, at least she's prime minister, but she chose to say it the wrong way. Like, don't worry, folks, at least I was prime minister. And the other way of looking at it is like, she did how many days as prime minister, and everyone's like making fun of her in that job, and it's like, well, you don't know, because you wouldn't know, how you would perform in that, because you've not done it either. Acknowledging like people fail and are shit because of their own fault, and at least they tried. At least they were put in that. But yeah, I think like I can't even remember her name. I can't think of it. But God, she was bad. So yeah, like and so this representative is there. He's asking me to vote. He's asking me to vote for his constituent, and in my head, it's like, it's not even necessary, at this point. It's like, well, I'm not voting the Tories because the Tories at the moment are, kind of abysmal. They openly just like come out and say, we're supporting Israel now, which I feel like is way out of touch with Britain's standards of values. I feel like supporting a side in war. I mean, what did Rishi Sunak say? He said, "We want you to win to Israel." It's like, really, you want somebody to succeed in violently wiping out you know, the locals. What? But it's like, shouldn't they be more like asking for, you know, a ceasefire, like Israel be a bigger person and, you know, and step down, show some compassion, you know. But yeah, no, they didn't. um, so yeah, like Tories are out, but to me it's like, why on earth uh, does it need to, you know, um, you know, I don't know. I guess like what I'm trying to say is in my town, Labour is the biggest, like, you know, like standard. Our town is never. I mean, I know I never say never, but our town is like rigidly like stuck in concrete. Um, you know, firebrand Labour. You know, you don't need to go around town, say vote Labour, because everybody knows and everybody does, you know, and there's not like an need. And the reason why Corbyn didn't win in the general elections, to me was like obvious, because I had all these people tell me how good, you know, Labour supporters tell me how good Labour is and how bad Conservative is, and, you know, not really pay attention at all to like some like bad things happening within the Labour Party. I'm not talking about anti-Semitism, you know, red herrings and shit like that. You know, that's just mudslinging, you know, right from the Conservative Party. So to me, it's uh, you know, it's like, yeah, you can tell me exactly how good Labour is and everything, but you need to hold them to account as well for any shit they've got going on. You know, you've got to hold them accountable to make sure that when they get in power, that they're not going to use it and be as corrupt as like Conservative. You know, why would you want to trade one evil master for another, sort of thing? So to me, it was like at the time when, you know, I was new to voting because I'd just come out of the military, and my way of life was impacted uh, by civilian life now, and you know, the cost of fuel and energy and everything else isn't something like that Pussers provides. It's something that you know, I don't know. I guess like what I'm trying to say is like when I came out of the Navy, that my eyes were open to things that I couldn't see before, because I had other things to worry about. So, you know, for me, it was, I guess for other people, it was quite like, you know, audacious. Like, how can you call our football team? How dare you not support our football team? You know, with the sort of like attitudes of the time, you know. And for me, it's like I watch politics happening, and a lot of the time, it's like it looks like pantomime to me. It looks like absolute pantomime. It almost looks set up, you know. Like who's playing the bad guy today is, you know. And sometimes I think that, uh, you know, voting can be keeping the same engine going. And looking, so anyway, I was, I'm hearing him saying, that we're already in power here. I'm hearing the representatives today. He say, we're already the local government, and I thought brilliant. And Corbyn didn't get any power because our hardcore firebrand, like vote Labour things, like social media shares and whatever else, is it didn't actually escape the town. Do you know what I mean? It's like all that energy is just like, just completely and utterly like wasted on, it's just preaching to the choir. It's not talking to people who need to hear it, who, who are, thinking and considering their vote and their, like, one opportunity to speak, within the nation. It's the idea that doesn't even get out of the town. It goes nowhere. You're just speaking in an echo chamber to each other, and I was just like feeling, observing like how neighbouring constituents, like how they, got on with voting, and looking at how, like, Blackburn was very red, very, very red, like the brightest possible shade of red that you could think of, and the neighbouring towns were like, shades of blue. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, this is why I don't believe in voting, because it's like, my vote is like a drop in the ocean. It's like people are saying, they don't take it for granted. It's like I could fall asleep on that day and not that safe and sound, like confidently. I mean, maybe this is taking it for granted as well, but confidently, like everybody's gonna vote Labour today, and if I miss it, I know I can depend on my family, my friends, everybody, that they're going to chip in and do their bit. If there's any reason I can't turn up, I know, like, there's hundreds of thousands of people who've already, like, gonna do it. So for me, again, it's like, it's a shitty system. It's like there's a lot of people, and I have to live in a global world, or at least like a place where if I'm job searching, like the demands of like today's world, they need me to like be able to get up and go to move to a different town. If I want to move forwards in life, I can't be stationary. I've got to look for opportunities all over the United Kingdom and take them. So I feel like my voice matters, like outside of the town that I live in. As far as the general election's concerned, not a local election but a general election. So I asked the representatives today. I says, does the constituent, I said, do they, does the person who's like running next week, I said, how do they communicate with, neighbouring constituents? Like, how do they work with and take note of what's happening, like in their immediate like surroundings? And he says, well, we don't. We look after our own town. We look after Blackburn. And I'm like, but Blackburn doesn't exist in a vacuum. like we are directly impacted by our neighbouring towns and cities, you know, like we have to be. So like we're working, you know, working with them to, you know, in terms of like transport, jobs, crime, everything, healthcare. I mean, healthcare should be an obvious one because, you know, Blackburn has pretty much like one of the biggest hospitals in Europe, you know, and it's during its COVID time, during you know, like the peak of that, you know, we had Fox News visit the place. We had a lot of, you know, like interest in Blackburn, in, you know, Blackburn Royal Hospital because its rates of COVID and its like state of business was busier than the busiest place in London. So, you know, and our hospital covers a lot of different areas. You know, our A&E, for example, that that provides emergency cover for a lot of neighbouring towns and cities within Lancashire. So to hear, you know, that our constituent focuses on Blackburn alone and, you know, isn't interested in like what happens like outside of Blackburn, you know, it's amazing. It's kind of it's just, to me it's weird, it's ridiculous that that it's like that. So yeah, and then he asked me at the end, he says, do you vote? I says, yes I do. And he just says, well, you know, I think he took note of my address, and he's, you know, he said that like, you know, he'll send the actual person, it'll put me in touch, or he'll put the person running it in touch with me. So I'd be quite interested. I mean, we did have a deep, like, on the spot, like, heavy conversation, because, you know, I was kind of like grilling. I wasn't just like gonna take the leaflet, because to me it's like helping people, you know, being a leader is more than just like how far you can go in a direction. It's also like checking up on the people you're leading. I mean, I suppose like as well, like just listening to that, maybe like I can say, you know, I need to um, like not take my own voice for granted, but I don't know. I mean, I am kind of cynical when it comes to like the voting system, and I remember you know, how passionately other people like really believe in it. You know, I remember working at one place who is like a hardcore Tory person, because that's his voice, that's his beliefs and everything, and he's asking me, did you vote today? And I said no. And I said, he says, oh, and we're talking. He says, who are you going to vote for? And he says, Labour. And he stops. He said, right, anyway, you've not voted today. He says, I need you to go out and vote. And he actually like got one of his mates to come and actually drive me to the ballot box and get me to do it. He was like, you know, you must, you know, stop being at work right now. Stop working for me. Stop making me money. Go and vote. And you know, I remember that. Um, and I also remember like reaching points in my life where I've been too cynical, where I've said like, I'm not going to vote, I'm not going to put fuel into the system, you know, I'm not going to like keep the engine running. I feel like we could do a better way. You know, we could do a better thing. We can vote with our feet, our actions, and you know, that's a sort of stance that I've had. One stance that I've had in life, you know, when it comes to like voting and believing, like, you know, it doesn't matter who you vote for at the end of the day, because you've got to take accountability for yourself. You know, whatever the weather, you've got to make it yourself anyway. And sometimes my resolve has been, you know, nothing changes. I've got to do the change. You know, if you know, if this started taking, well, whatever. But the thing is like, at times where I felt like I'm not going to vote, I've like spoke to my friends and said, "Who are you voting for?" And I said, "Right, I'm going to vote for who you're voting for then." You know, and obviously like give my voice away to Labour, because sometimes it's like, if I don't believe, you know, I'll lend my hand to somebody who does. I mean, I think like the only sort of like really fair like nationwide vote that did matter in very recent history is like the Brexit vote. I feel like that one was, it wasn't just like, you know, my vote was in a vacuum of my immediate environment and got locked at the borders of like uh, of this constituent, you know, in a sort of like pool of like, we've already, you know, done it here, sort of thing. Is a referendum. The Brexit referendum was like, you know, me having my voice in the whole of the United Kingdom, and it's like, even though I voted like to remain, I still remember like listening and hearing like other people talking about it, and the only voice of reason that I came across was one of the taxi driver friends, and he was crying when he said it, but he said, I don't feel like, I haven't voted, and that's, you know, his choice. And I said, why have you not voted? And he says, it is you know, he said it's unfair to ask the British people to make such a decision. It's an unfair question, you know. You know, food for thought. I mean, the other thing was, like, for me anyway, like my personal, like the one thing which causes me like the main inconvenience in my life is the cost of transport. And it's like, you know, I'm not gonna like knock the services that do exist, that are available, because they're very good. It's just in terms of like alternate modes of transport and availability. You know, the public transport in my town, I guess it doesn't like connect everybody up. You know, if you live in some parts, it's like tough shit. You know, I think like a lot of people in like metropolitan like big cities, I guess, don't really encounter this problem, because it's like the paths are straight, they're flat, you can walk, and there's like the subway systems, and there's like, you know, I mean, I'm thinking of London, but um, well, I'm thinking of New York and London, to be honest, um, but London especially has so many modes of transport, available that, to be honest, it's like, you know, take your pick. You got, if you want to go somewhere, you can get somewhere, and the cost of it's like pretty reasonable, I think. Like in comparison to like the rest of the world and how everything else works. Yeah, no, I feel like London's okay for its, you know, transport options and availability and how connected and joined up everything is. I mean, I'll say this, but there's probably someone in London who's like, you know, who has a bit of a harder time, but you know, overall, um, so it's kind of annoying to hear that, you know, um, as a taxpayer, you know, like where did my taxes end up? Oh, they're building another transport network in London. Really? Like, oh my word, we're building infrastructure in one of the most developed and modern cities in the world. Again, like, whose business profit idea is that? So, I you know, it annoys me uh, when it's like you know, um, when it could take me, you know, the whole day to just have a trip just to the nearest city. It's yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I feel like, so I asked him that anyway, and he said, and he just made up some bullshit excuse. He was just like saying to me, "Oh, well, it's because, well, it's because of the Tories. They don't give us enough money, you know." And like, so basically, you're blaming it on the general elections. Then it's like, you know, are you not going to put any like pressure on for other services or anything else, or provide any like campaign to start up businesses, or provide education, or whatever? I don't know. Like from all the like the thousands of different options available to like, you know, press for like, you know, better connected up, joined up parts of the town. I feel like to say like, we haven't got anything because we don't have enough money. I feel like, you know, I'm asking what you're doing. What's the angle of that? And you know, nothing. And the thing is like, I'm gonna vote for, you know, uh, for Labour. I'm gonna vote Labour, and I know like I'm doing it because there's still like the lesser of two evils, you know, and that when they get in power, I'm still gonna be like on the case, you know, make sure you do what you say you're gonna do. Make sure that um, you know, hold them to account. You know, if you're gonna lead, then lead, take charge. You know, don't just be going down to London and boasting about like, you know, I am London now. Come to me with problems, or just get to work, sort of thing. Look at me. I'm in London now. I'm doing something busy and important in London again. Look at me. I am living a metropolitan life away from you, scummy working class people that I have moved away from because I'm now an MP in power, and I get to go to London to do important stuff. You know, I mean, it's what one thing is like, you know, I understand like the MP of, you know, like one of the neighbouring towns, like goes down to London to actually bring up, you know, uh, problems and issues of things that happen in the local town and stuff. So I'm quite, you know, I'm quite content with that. I just wonder, like, sometimes, you know, sometimes what is the angle in life? I mean, that was everything. Yeah. So I said, you know, I outlined the problem with it. I said, like, currently, you know, a lot of money's made from like commissioning a certain way of transport that makes, you know, um, a lot of money, you know, and it's not good for the whole people. So again, like, as like you know, a Labour voter, and I'm thinking, well, how are we gelling together and helping each other out in this, and not just like profiting from people? Again, like, where's the evidence? Anyway, I'm gonna go now. Thank you for listening, and I guess, like, I'm gonna try and, you know, make something into our ear and not like just like get lost up in thought. But yeah, I've added another level to a house. I don't know what I'm going to put in it yet, actually. In fact, maybe I should just put a table and a chair. Yeah, we'll do this. So I'm going to put... I don't really know if this would be like a nice little thing. Do you ever play Terraria, right? And you have this choice of like making things like an even number, an odd number in terms of symmetry. And then when it doesn't go to plan, you're like, oh shit. And you have to like build everything and dig everything up again and start again. Oh, this is going to annoy me because I've... No! That's not fair. I could only make 2 lamps. Think. How can I even this up? Oh no, I can make another one. What do you mean I can make another one? Alright, we'll go with that. There we go. Yeah, I don't really know what to turn this into. Like, I'm going to tidy this up. Yeah, okay. Everybody have a great day. Stay hydrated. Get something nice to eat, and make sure you look after yourself. And be you. Do things for yourself. Wait, no, because that's actually quite hard. All the time. I don't know. We'll work on it. We'll work on my signature goodbye. But anyway, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and see you later.